Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We gather here today as global young leaders sharing issues to do with which are affecting our young people, and how can young people engage in leadership and decision making. But one of the issues which we were discussing today was to agree and sign the agreement which is going to be presented by one of our representatives in Paris tomorrow to the UN Climate Summit 2015, which is ongoing currently at the and has been attended by more than 150 heads of states and countries represented. I think the issue you're trying to ask me about, my take on the global warming and carbon emission, what I can say is that the pace of global warming is accelerating, and the scale of the impact is devastating so much and worrying. And I think the time for action is limited. And we are approaching a tipping point beyond which the opportunity to reverse the damage of carbon emission will disappear. Will disappear soon. And I think there are more effective ways in which we can tackle environment problem issues, including global challenges like global warming, the proliferation of plastics, urban sprawl, and the loss of biodiversity, than signing big treaties, top-down regulations, and other approaches offered by big governments and their dependents. And my friends, what I can say is that climate change is a true 1 million gorillas in a room, and the effects of global warming threaten global environmental upheaval over the coming century. But for Africa, it could be our death knell if urgent action is not taken. And I believe our African leaders who are currently in Paris will realize this, because I'm deeply concerned by the threats posed by the climate change to people of Africa. I personally have seen and experienced the impact of floods, droughts, and other extreme weather events in my country. And I think Africa has been pushed to the brink, whereby now we need to have an action. And I'm calling upon African leaders attending UN Climate Summit today in Paris to prevent this catastrophic climate change by committing to ambitious action to reduce carbon emission. I want to call upon all the governments of Africa and the world to stand with people in the front line of the climate crisis, and in particular the vulnerable communities whose voices need to be heard. Winning the fight against climate change starts with protecting the people whose lives and livelihoods are most at risk. And we need to put people in front line whenever we are discussing these issues. And I believe the African leaders will put the people of Africa in front. The Kenyan leaders, the East African, the African Union, members of the society and special groups attending this summit, we urge you people to take a serious action. It is not about a delegation attending the meeting. It is not about how big are the number. It is not about how smart are you, the richer you are. This thing, it's a global threat, and if we don't take a serious action, it will ruin the world, and very soon we will no longer have a space to live in. But again, there are some challenges which we need to tackle, and I think, my friend, you can agree with me. Of late, you have seen what has been happening in most countries in Africa. You have seen what has been happening in Kenya, where there's issues to do with the high level of corruption, high level of injustices, high level of, going against the constitution, high level of not doing what is supposed to be implemented by the policy, the injustice, the undemocratic way of doing things. These are cultures which must be stopped, and African leaders must realize that it is not a time to just be in position, but it is a time to be in those positions to serve the people. Leadership is about service. It is about servanthood. Therefore, this issue of climate change has to be dealt with. We appreciate the people who were at Kyoto Protocol and what they did. They reached that level. Therefore, it is time now for the current leadership to take it to another level, so that we help save the world. We help save our natural resources. I recommend a heavy and a serious dialogue, and also a solution. And I expect that by the end of this meeting, we'll have to, we'll see many implementation actions being taken by the leaders across the globe. And I wish them all the best in Paris. And I think my team also will be traveling tonight, because we have another meeting, the Global African Investment Meeting, chaired by His Excellency Obasanjo, which is starting tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have no much, and wish you all the best. Thank you. Sugary drinks. So can we do something to nudge people away from those choices? We think that will help to make a difference.